What's going on, guys? Radio Graffiti here, and today I want to talk to you guys about Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Now, I want to be straight up with you guys. I'm not exactly a Sonic fan. I didn't play the video games or watch the animated show or anything. My only knowledge of Sonic are the live action movies that I've watched with my 5-year-old probably like 60 times each movie. So he was very excited to see this movie. He really enjoyed it. And I decided to make this video because I really enjoyed it as well. I thought it was a very emotional, action-packed film that really surprised me. It was how epic it could be. I think this is a huge step up from the previous Sonic movies. You know, the other Sonic movies, they were fine. You know, they were cool kids movies and all that. But I think this one really steps it up as far as the action and the story. Sonic is fighting a new hedgehog, only this time he's black instead of red. His name is Shadow the Hedgehog, and he's cool as fuck. His aura is just awesome, even just from the character design. I mean, look at him. Just the black and the white and the red where it's all placed, it all just looks so cool. I think there was even at one point where he had like rockets coming out of his shoes that kind of looked like Jordans or something. Like, this guy is so fucking cool. I see why everybody was so excited to see this guy in the movie. And it helps when you're voiced by John Wick. That's always a plus. It's kind of distracting at first because it's like Keanu Reeves, he sounds like he always does. You know, he's like,
"Look, I don't want to hurt you guys, but if you're gonna give me no choice, I guess we'll have to fight."
you know, just in that slow, sort of cool, nonchalant voice he always has. But as the movie goes on, you don't even really recognize that. He fits perfectly with Shadow. What really impressed me about this movie was the action scenes. They were so cool for no reason. Like, why is a kids movie going this hard on the action scenes? Like, Shadow's over here driving up a building on his little motorcycle and Sonic's chasing him, and then he just kind of just flies up in the sky, and it's just so freaking cool. And then the ending of the film, it's like Sonic and Shadow are just punching each other all across the universe. They're just beating the living hell out of each other. This is some freaking Dragon Ball Z shit right here. I mean, wow, this action is such a huge step up from the previous Sonic movies. They did not need to go this hard. Jim Carrey also returns as Robotnik, only this time he's also playing an old man Robotnik. I believe it's like his grandpa or something. They're very goofy and silly throughout the film. There's one scene in particular where they're dancing that's really silly and just kind of Jim Carrey going for it. He's just having a blast in this role, and it kind of rubs off on you because you just get the vibes that he just loves playing his character so much. That's why he keeps returning. He's tried to retire like multiple times, but then he keeps returning to play this character over and over, which is so freaking funny. That of all the roles Jim Carrey's ever played, this is what keeps him going. I will admit though, I know it's a kid's movie, but it gets kind of silly at certain points where it kind of takes away from some of the more serious or emotional moments that are a little bit more interesting in the film. Like, we had a cool badass scene of Shadow and Sonic punching each other to another planet, and then we cut to the old man giving Jim Carrey a spanking with a giant metal glove. And it's just really silly and wasn't very funny. I mean, I understand it's for kids, it's not really meant for me to laugh at, so I guess it's fine, but just in my opinion, I felt like it kind of took away from some of the cooler moments of the film when we just kept cutting to these goofballs. The other side characters are okay. You know, you got Tails, Knuckles, James Marsden and his woman. They're all fine. They just kind of serve their purpose in the film. They don't really get any standout scenes in here. You don't really care about the human characters in particular. And thankfully, the human characters are little to non-existent in this film. They are in it as minimum as possible. It's more about Sonic and Shadow, which I really enjoyed. Shadow's backstory is very emotional. I found myself tearing up when it kept cutting to his flashback scenes with him and Maria. I don't know, man. It's something about kids' movies. They really know how to tug on my heartstrings. I can't even watch Jesse's backstory from Toy Story 2 without getting a little emotional. Like, there's something about kids' movies that really know how to just tug on your heartstrings. That's fine. It's so sad. Him and Maria's backstory. It was so touching. And it made you really care about Shadow, knowing his backstory. Like, he's not an evil guy. He just, you know, has something really fucked up happen to him, and he just wants revenge on them. He is going about it the wrong way. But sort of the problem with this is that the old man is also kind of on his whole, you know, I want to destroy the entire world because of what happened to Maria thing, but I never really felt it with him like I did with Shadow. Like, with Shadow, I completely felt that he was doing all this because of Maria. I was backing him on that part. But with the old man, he's just such a goofball all throughout the entire movie that when he tries to get more serious, it's like, I don't know, man, I don't really buy this act. I don't really buy that you really care about Maria that much, because he's never really said or done anything about it the entire film. Till we get to the third act, he's like,
Maria, you will get justice.
Never really got those vibes, so they probably could have done a little bit better with that. And if I had any other negatives, I'd say there's one scene in particular where the loud, annoying lady from the second movie returns. You know in Sonic 2 where they have that stupid wedding scene that kind of ruins the entire movie because it's so out of place and unfunny? Well, that lady is back. Thankfully, she wasn't in the movie more than just this one cameo scene, but in the one scene she was in, she really kind of brought the movie down to a screeching halt. Because it's like James Marsden and his boo are trying to get into this gun place, this high security place, and they've cracked down on security since Shadow escaped, and they're trying to get in. Well, they're not letting them in, so they have these little things where they're kind of able to change their face, and she has her face changed to this Rachel, I guess is her name. And her whole idea of getting in is to say, I'm going to be as loud as possible, loud and obnoxious and annoying as possible, and I'm going to threaten to get you fired. And somehow it actually works. It actually scares the guy into letting her into the building. I'm like, what? This scene was really stupid. It's like they couldn't find any way to actually resolve this conflict, so they said, oh, I don't know, let's just have a cameo and just play it off for laughs. Like, I know you're a kid's movie, but come on. This is just really stupid. She's so loud, obnoxious, and annoying. It's like she thinks being loud makes her funny when it doesn't. So that was the only scene I was just really annoyed by. Besides that, though, I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was a fun time. It's very emotional, action-packed kids movie that I think you and your little one will enjoy. I can't speak for the die-hard Sonic fans, but from what I've heard of reviews and stuff, it seems like everybody else generally really likes the film, and they think it's the best of the Sonic movies. I'd have to agree. I think this might just be the best Sonic movie. Like, I think the action, the characters, and the storylines, it all was an improvement from the previous films. And there wasn't a lot of human and stuff to kind of bring the movie down. We got to focus much more on the hedgehogs. I mean, no, it's pretty predictable. Like, early on in the movie, James Marsden's talking to Sonic about how, you don't let your emotions get the best of you, and you gotta learn to keep yourself in check and all that. And then, of course, by the end of the film, we get a flashback to that. And it's kind of very sudden. Like, Sonic goes from wanting to murder Shadow in cold blood to him having a flashback, then all of a sudden they're all best buddies. It's like, wow, that was a very sudden change, Sonic. You went from wanting to murder Shadow to you guys becoming best friends in the span of like 5 seconds. But, whatever. It's fine. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Sonic 3. I think it's a very enjoyable film. I would highly recommend to go watch it, especially if you're a fan of the other Sonic movies. So my question is to you, to the Sonic fans. What did you guys think about this film? Do you think it did Shadow justice? Are you happy with how they did the character? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.